For centuries, it was assumed that European history ended with the fall of the Roman Empire. The advance of Christianity and migration transformed the Balkans, leaving behind the classical world. However, in southern Greece, a community followed a different path, almost invisible to historical accounts. If you like this content, do not forget to subscribe and give like. Your support is fundamental to continue sharing fascinating stories about our past and how it affects us in the present. A recent genetic study has revealed that this exception was not only cultural, but also biological. Researchers at the University of Oxford demonstrated that the inhabitants of this region of the Peloponnese maintain a genetic continuity that connects with Greek populations of the Bronze Age and the Roman period. This is not a local legend. Genetic data supports what some medieval sources mentioned more than 1,000 years ago, which for a long time was viewed with skepticism. This medieval testimony is key to understanding the history of this community. In the 10th century, a Byzantine emperor described the inhabitants of this area as direct descendants of the ancient Hellenians. He claimed that they had maintained pagan religious practices long after the arrival of Christianity in the empire. For generations, this account was considered exaggerated. However, genetic research suggests that the chronicler was not so wrong. The male lineages analyzed show an almost total absence of the genetic traces of migrations that affected the rest of Greece. The geography of this mountainous and hard-to-reach enclave has been fundamental to its survival. Despite being an unattractive place for invaders, its isolation has allowed the community to maintain its identity over the centuries. The study reveals that this population faced a critical period between the 4th and 7th centuries, marked by epidemics and coastal attacks. From that demographic collapse, a small group of families managed to survive and expand, creating a unique genetic concentration. One of the most interesting findings is the relationship between genetic data and historical constructions. The distribution of lineages coincides with megalithic structures and defensive towers, suggesting that many current families descend from those who built these buildings. This community is not a marginal territory, but a natural laboratory that demonstrates how they resisted the collapse of the Roman world without fully integrating into the new medieval order. It is a valuable example for studying the history of Europe. The analysis of maternal lines, in contrast to male lineages, shows a greater genetic diversity. This indicates that women came from different regions through marriages, reflecting a patriarchal society where men remained in the territory. The stories of nobility and prestige that many families claimed are not based on DNA, but should not be disqualified. Identity is built not only on genetics, but also on stories that have brought together the community over time.